You are ready.
Tell us a little about your background, where you grew up, your family, your childhood.
Well, I've had a kind of very interesting childhood. My parents from very early on kind of set me on a routine of conserving all sorts of resources, whether it was water or air. You know, we had a limited supply of air to breathe each day. So I've been sort of thinking about conservation for a good part of my life.
Alright, well, how about college? Where did you go? What did you study? Are there any particular interesting memories or experiences that stand out?
Well, I went to Harvard, studied physics there. Any interesting facts or experiences? Let's see. I can't really think of... Well, I think probably the most interesting thing about that experience was the other people that I met and the friends that I made there, and yeah, a lot of the people there had very unique life goals and backgrounds, and so that was probably the most interesting part of that experience.
Alright, what places have you traveled to?
I've traveled to, let's see, Mexico, Canada, of course. I mean, everyone from the US has to go to those places. And then I've gone to China, Korea once, and then Thailand as well. And some parts of Europe too.
What brings you to SILUND, and do you plan on returning in years to come?
Well, what originally brought me to SILUND was the program itself, you know, the courses of study that were offered. What continues to bring me back, however, is definitely Wilkerson. The food and the conservation projects that it's trying to start. No question about that.
And do you plan on returning in years to come? Or...
Oh yes, I mean, precisely because of Wilkerson. I mean, I really admire what they do and enjoy their food too.
Alright. Are there any unique or interesting facts about you or memories that you feel our audience might enjoy hearing?
Well, yes, but it would take too long to go through them all, I think. So I'll refrain for now.
Alright. So what are your feelings about water conservation?
Well, I have fairly strong feelings about water conservation. I think anything that we can do to conserve water should be considered.
And what have you been doing personally to aid in conservation?
Well, I've gone trailless, I think once or twice this summer so far.
Alright. Do you feel the people here are doing enough to conserve, or is there more that we could be doing to help?
Well, I think there are a couple of things we could be doing. I think one obvious thing is the showers. You know, the showers have such strong pressure that any shower, one shower, a single shower, uses an enormous amount of water. So I think one obvious solution would be to simply shower less, and certainly to shorten the length of each shower, but you know, why not just skip showers every other day? You know, do we really need to shower every day? Another obvious thing we could do is flush the toilets less often. I mean, the amount of pressure that those toilets produce is enormous, and the amount of water that you see rushing down the toilet is just incredible. I think we could easily, you know, afford to flush the toilets less often. And, you know, I think I've heard a saying before, if it's yellow, stay mellow. Oh wait, no. How does it go? If it's yellow, be mellow, or something like that. You get the idea, though.
So a lot of attention seems to be being paid to water conservation, but what about the protection of our other natural resources? Do you feel that they're being neglected, or are there any in particular that you think we need to pay more attention to?
Well, I've been reading recently about the air pollution that's plaguing certain areas of the country, especially near big cities. And I think that's definitely a legitimate concern that we should be investigating further. One area that I think is somewhat neglected here, particularly in Grand Forks, is air conservation, but not in terms of pollution per se, but in terms of freshness, or just how pleasant it is to breathe and smell. And I think we could try somehow to do something about that potato factory, which just stinks up our air. It makes it very unpleasant to breathe. So I think of air conservation not just in terms of health, and its effect on our body, but its effect on our noses in particular. And I think that potato factory maybe there should be stricter regulations on what it can release into our air, into our breathing space, because frankly I just have a hard time. I feel like I'm going to gag whenever I smell it.
Alright, well, thank you.
You're welcome. It's great.